Hey guys, it's me, your psych with a mic, and I'm coming to you from my new home office tonight. Got everything set up. If you've been following me, you know that story. So I'm working 100% virtually from home now, and I wanted to get on tonight and talk with you guys about a new thing that I'm going to be doing. So this is the first of the Psych with a Mic video series, and I'm going to be talking about different topics in mental health, answering questions that you guys have submitted. Most recently, I reached out and asked for various topics that you'd like to see addressed in one format or another, either blogging, video, podcasting, and I've gotten an overwhelming response. So thank you all for giving me your 2 cents and asking those questions. And this is the first of those videos, and tonight we're going to talk about triggers. So you guys have heard me talk about triggers. You've seen me write about triggers. Life is about triggers. So a lot of times people hate that word. They feel like it's overused, overdone, worn out, but it's real. It's a legitimate thing. And sometimes that's just the best way to describe it. So let's first start by talking about what that is exactly. So a trigger is anything that happens that sets into motion so it happens to you in your current environment, and it sets into motion thoughts, feelings, behavior, reactions, and it could be that it taps into something from your past, because we are creatures of our past. Everything that's happened to us up until the time we're in front of each other influences who we are in some way, good, bad, or neutral. So the trigger in the current situation can tap into the past, or it can tap into some other things that are going on for you. So depending on whatever environmental things are going on around you, emotional things, hormonal things, whatever, a trigger can set into motion feelings, thoughts, behavior. What's important to remember is that a trigger generates a reaction because it links up with a thought first. That thought then triggers a feeling. And then the feeling can generate behavior, or it can stay at a feeling that you just have that influences your day or your mood or what have you, or your interactions with others. So it's always thought and then feeling and then behavior. It's not the other way around. You can't have a feeling without first processing some sort of thought. Now, these thoughts are happening within like nanoseconds in the supercomputer that is our brain, but they are happening. So it's a thought and then a feeling that comes out of that. So let's look at an example. So this is an example of how strawberries can make you feel not good enough. Now, that sounds really strange, but when I work with people and help them unpack their triggers, they're able to see why they suddenly felt a certain way at a certain time, why their mood suddenly shifted, and they think they can't explain it. So let's talk about strawberries. So let's say that you are a young person working in a smoothie shop, and someone comes in and orders a strawberry smoothie. And you're getting the strawberries from the fridge and getting everything ready to go into the blender. And you see these strawberries, and it reminds you of the strawberry shortcake that your mom used to make when you had family dinner. And you're thinking about everyone sitting around the table at family dinner and thinking about some of the conversations. Again, this is happening at lightning speed, but I'm unpacking it so that you can see kind of this process. So we're making the smoothie, we've got the strawberries, we're thinking about strawberry shortcake, and then we're thinking about family meals, and we're thinking about the conversations that would occur around the table for family dinner. And maybe some of those conversations were about how you aren't doing a good job, or you're not measuring up in some way. Or maybe this was just a discussion that was directed at other people, but you were just privy to it. So maybe one of your parents was telling someone else how they're not doing a good job. Maybe your parents were fighting with each other. So we're at this family dinner, this conversation is going around, and it leaves you feeling that you aren't good enough. So the strawberries tap into that history, and that brings up this thought of, I'm not good enough. It reminds you of those days in the past where these kinds of conversations were held, and they left you thinking a certain way. That thought, that memory, that recollection then gets processed, and you are going to instantly have some kind of feeling around it. So for a lot of people, it would be sad. For some people, maybe they get angry. Anger is a secondary emotion. So generally what lies beneath that is sadness, shame, guilt, anxiety, something like that. But that experience, that memory triggered that thought, and now you are in that feeling. And so you're doing fine. You're working at your job. Someone comes in, you're doing your customer service thing, you're pleasant, you're wonderful. You turn around to go make the smoothie, you see the strawberries, it sets into motion this cascade of thinking, and now you're feeling depressed, sad, angry, afraid, worried, fearful, shameful. And then you're going to turn back around and you are a different person to this customer. Now, hopefully you've learned to compartmentalize and you can do your job and keep a smile on your face and do your customer service thing. But this is just an example of how something as simple as fruit can make you feel terrible, depressed, not good enough, whatever that triggers for you. So that's just a little bit on triggers. Keep your questions coming, topics that you want me to discuss. And thank you guys for joining me for the first Psych with a Mike video. Have a great weekend.